What's the difference between AI and us? Maybe you would say nowadays there is no difference. We can talk, we can think the same, kind of. We can reason, we can appear emotional, even if we aren't. Although there is one thing that is different, and that is perfection. We will never be perfect beings, we'll never be able to make the perfect choice, we'll never have a perfect way of life, or a perfect soulmate. We are impulsive, angry, and emotional. But AI, well, AI is different. Simple coding, and there you have a perfect being in the making. And I'm going to explain why this is so dangerous. So let me delve into the core issue. No matter how much we try, we'll never be able to outdo perfection. Because obviously it is impossible to be perfect. And this is a hard lesson we all have to learn. But when we do, we rather find the beauty in imperfection and actually strive for it. But now with AI getting more and more complex with reasoning, intelligence, and even emotion, we now have access to something we never have before. A perfect being, arguably. This is kind of shown in my last couple of podcasts, as AI can do almost anything to a perfect degree, like with therapy or even love maybe, and can maybe do it better than we could ever even reach. And if you want to see those podcasts, there'll be links below. But anyway, we as humans try while AI does, and this difference is very important. It seems people are having this ignorance is bliss mindset, because the reality is that AI will be able to outdo us in every single aspect. Even the human things we claim like love. That love will one day not even be comparable to the way AI can love. Let me explain this through a real life example. So you want to sort your mental health out? Well, you can go to an AI therapist who will do it for you for no cost, less time. The only counter is it's not human. I mean, do you take it? I mean, why wouldn't you? You can be happier faster. No need for time being wasted. And this has already been seen through modernizations like going online. Not particularly with mental health, but let's say you want to see someone or you want to talk to someone online and they're in a different country, you can simply just get up your phone and text them. And that can be a good thing, but obviously I'm sure you already know that social media needs restriction on that type of thing, where people will begin to feel isolated if they think that the only contact that they can get is halfway across the country and that they don't interact with anyone outside of that aspect. I want you to know I'm not anti-AI. This new invention will soon be one of the greatest in mankind. But just like with social media, it needs restriction. Otherwise, instead of benefiting from it, the average person will be harmed by it. AI has no human errors. It'll be able to do everything we do, but perfectly, even love. Meaning people will want to strive for that type of behaviour more than the less perfect one, which is us. But the issue is, where does the love for imperfection go? If we can simply have perfection right at our hands, why would we ever want imperfection? I've seen it firsthand. Sometimes I've asked ChatGPT an emotional question and it's gave me better advice than most friends would. And that would be beneficial at the time, but in the long run, you'll never trust your own judgment or the people you're close to. You never feel like they have a good opinion compared to the way AI can. This will cause us to lose control and no longer be useful to each other. And that's where imperfection dies and perfection survives. As people given the choice will always choose the latter. I've started realising this more and more, so I've stopped using ChatGPT for every emotional issue, as that can be a dangerous game if you don't play it correctly. We as humans need to maintain our humanity. And the concept of perfectionism will start to change in a negative way. And we won't be able to change it back. For instance, we know Disney relationships aren't realistic. When we grow up, we know they won't ever happen in real life and that there won't ever be a perfect soulmate. So we stop striving for it. But now we have this opportunity to have this perfect being, meaning we can have what we've always wanted in childhood. However, we will soon realise how imperfect we are, and it will destroy our self-esteem. So this is where the risk really starts. It all runs the risk of low self-esteem, where people will never be able to compare to the perfect being of AI. We as humans are literally programmed to want to be the best all the time. It's why we have so much insecurity. And that is only going to increase more and more with AI becoming more apparent. So while we try to be perfect, AI will be perfect. You may say we have control of AI and what we put into it, so it'll always be humans' own doing. But AI right now is rather learning from our behaviours rather than imitating it. It's actually learning and getting smarter and gaining more knowledge on how we act, like a baby would when it's just been born. It will adapt to something more complex than us. When something can configure our opinions together to be something of the perfect human opinion objectively, we can never compare to that type of intellect. I already see it with these AI debate videos, when two AIs are given a topic and have to give the best argument for each opinion. And I get that right now they may not be the best at it, but in a few years there's no reason it can't develop better than us. So what happens to our opinions in an AI-dominated world? Well, we begin to solely rely on that rather than us. AI develops its own intelligent opinion about certain topics. I mean, seriously, let's say you have 5 years of experience in politics and you're trying to debate an AI which has infinite sources in its memory, has a high level of reasoning to be able to configure all that together. I mean, how could you ever compare? You just couldn't. It will be the perfect answer, something humans can never do. The perfect combination of reasoning, so even if it is humans' input, it will always be AI's own opinion, a brain better than ours. Our opinions will no longer be necessary, and we won't even know what the right opinion is anymore. There'll be no need to ask other people for advice if we know we can get it perfectly, quickly, and efficiently. It may not be completely the same as talking to someone. However, there's so much reliance that the being won't be impulsive and emotional, that you can trust it maybe more than a human, knowing it won't lie to you. Another thing that scares me is that people may even begin to prefer AI, to talk to something which is more understanding, which can show more compassion than us. And it will purely want to serve us, and it will have no ulterior motive to have a self-interest. People may realise this will be an issue in the future, due to us maybe being the weaker species eventually. But once we rely on this technology, it's too late. Once we get the ball rolling, there's no way bringing it back up the hill. There's just nothing we would be able to do about it. Another issue is that people will no longer have to work hard for the most simple things in life. So you need your relationship sorting out because you've been having problems recently. You can just ask a simple question to AI and you'll get the results straight away, knowing that it is trying to give you the best advice possible, which in the grand scheme of things seems okay, but you'll soon realise you can't even handle your own personal problems about your own relationship, about your own emotions. You're no longer autonomous, but rather a slave to a machine's mind. And it's already been shown to a minor degree where we use Google Maps to give us basic directions, instead of learning to read a map, and this is shown to have debilitating effects on our brain, like decreasing spatial navigation, as there's no need for the brain to use that part anymore. So what is going to happen when we don't need to sort our own problems out anymore and we can just rely on AI? Well, our brain will become less and less useful for those parts, the more we don't use them. I mean, it's how evolution works. For example, the Neanderthals had bigger occipital lobes than us, which is to do with seeing, and they could see greater depth than us. And us humans, we don't have as much of a large occipital lobe as them because we don't need to see that depth because we've used it less and less. So it will simply just happen where we won't need to use certain parts of our brains anymore because we'll get AI to do it for us. There's already been some evidence of cognitive issues in young people due to the over-reliance of technology for memory purposes. It says to me the more we closely bond with AI, the more likely people are going to over-rely on it to sort their own problems out. You may say AI can never exactly replicate what we do in terms of love. They'll never be able to love the way we do, but I don't think it matters whether it's real love or not. People will want it anyway due to the way normal love makes them feel. And if AI can make them feel better than any human could, of course you're going to make that trade-off. I'm going to use an example here to demonstrate how we're going to lose meaning in our lives with AI becoming more apparent. So when people have near-death experiences, they report finding more meaning in their lives and start to appreciate what it means to live a good life because they understand how short it is. Well, this works with AI. Why would you ever try anything if you knew you would always get the perfect thing? Why would you ever try and have unique experiences if you knew you were immortal? Life has no meaning without death, and we have no meaning with having a perfect being solving our problems all the time. Now, I want to point out the positive impact AI can have on our lives, as it's not all just about being scared of AI. You can get professional help more easily, not needing a human to help you if it's something trivial, compared to someone who has severe mental health issues who might need a human therapist. And this in turn will reduce the waiting times if someone's just using AI to sort it out for them. The minor issues. It also allows us to have bigger access to information, meaning we can understand the topic a better way if we need it straight away. You can get advice on something that people can't provide at the time. Like if you're in a class and you don't understand what the teacher said and you just need it right now, then you can just ask AI to explain it for you, not give you the answer, but explain it. Those are some positives. Not many, but I think we need to understand how we can avoid AI becoming too perfect. So can we? No, we can't really avoid AI becoming too perfect or perfect because it's already developing more than it's already developing too quickly for us to stop it. But we can change the way we feel about it. For example, you need to remember that sometimes doing impulsive things is good for us, as it shows we are human. So we need to remember and to avoid the temptation to ask AI for the answer. And remember that doing impulsive decisions, even if it's a bad one, is the way we grow and it's the way we develop ourselves. Getting the answer every single time is not going to help us grow into better people. Also, another thing to remember is when you're asking AI for help, because I'm not suggesting that you don't, just ask yourself, is this professional help? Which in case, yeah, maybe you should ask it if you can't get it straight away. But if it's not, you need to think whether you can solve it without having an expertise on that topic, like emotions, for example, like the way you feel. You should ask a friend rather than AI all the time, because AI will give you the perfect answer, but sometimes that's not actually needed in that scenario. Our learning will be stunted if we let AI take this over. We need to maintain our humanity in this. And also remember, imperfections are better than perfections. If you're running a race and you came second place, but for 5 years you've been working towards it, and you've just been trying and failing, but you finally got to second place, compared to someone who got first place but didn't try, they just were born like it, who would you respect more? So it takes strength knowing how imperfect you are and still wanting to try. That is one thing AI will never have, the art of imperfections. It will never know what it's like to experience human error, and therefore will never be able to grow the way we can. AI is just starting out, But with time, there'll be more and more development, and eventually we won't be able to stop it from getting better than us. And that's okay. It's the way we react to it which matters. So to conclude everything I've said today, this episode was to demonstrate the necessary attention AI needs right now and how serious and complex the situation is. AI is going down a path of being the superior species. It's just for you to decide how you will come into terms with that idea. Thank you for listening to this episode, and if you like AI content, subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Spotify account to keep seeing more content like this. And I thank you for listening, and I hope you feel more educated on what you think can happen if AI starts to become the superior species to us. But yes, thank you.